Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Hope. My name is Tammy Lynn Connors. This is my YouTube channel and podcast, helping other people evolve. Today, I have one of my favorite people, DeAndre Gaston, with me, aka Coach Pooh. Hi, DeAndre. How are you?
Hi, Tom.
So I'm super excited about this interview because we've been trying to do it for a long time. And so today's finally the day. I always say that God does it right in the right time. So today was the right time. For any of you that do not know what Hope is, it's just my platform to try to help other people. I started this thinking that so many people are alone in their struggles at home. They feel like there's nobody else out there struggling. And these stories that we share are of struggles to strength. So DeAndre's story might not be exactly like your story, and I'm sure it's not, but it might give you the hope that you can get out of bed that day and maybe just take a deep breath and know that everything's going to be okay. Unfortunately, we all go through struggles, but fortunately, we can get through those struggles. So today, I am super excited. I walked into DeAndre's gym, I think it was last year in probably May, I think it was.
Right.
Go Time Grind. And a little of the backstory with that is I worked out doing step class with my friend Netta, and she was always telling me, go to 3403 Monroe Street, 3403 Monroe Street. I'm like, okay, I'll get there one day. She's like, on Wednesday, we do step and then boxing. And I'm like, okay, one day I'll get there. And then eventually I was like, okay, I think I need to go there because she keeps telling me about it. And little did I know that I was going to meet one of the most amazing people I've ever met in my life. And that is the truth. Just so you know. I walked in the door to your gym that day and I was getting ready to do my Night of Hope in June.
Mhm.
And the person had canceled the day before, one of the guys that was supposed to do that. I don't know if you remember this or not.
I didn't know that somebody canceled.
Yeah,
Okay.
so he canceled the day before. So I walked into DeAndre's gym and this gym was just, you know how you walk in somewhere and you get that energy and that good vibe? That's exactly what I got from your gym. And I remember you walked out of the back room and I said to Netta, is that the owner? And she's like, yeah. And I'm like, okay. I'm like, he's really got a purpose here, right?
Mhm.
And I walked up and she said, hey, Tammy wants to talk to you after class. So we did our boxing, which was fun. And then afterwards I said, hey, I got this Night of Hope. Would you share your story? And I remember you looking at me going, yes, I will, but do you even know my story? And I said, I sure do not, but your vibe here and everything, I'm sure you have a great story. So now you all get to hear his story. He did share at my Night of Hope, which was amazing. And I got to hear more of his story and what he's doing in our city and to help the youth in our city and just to help the world be a better place. So I guess let's go back to probably right around the age that you went a little bit to the left or whatever way you want to say. Or growing up, I guess. Start there.
So I grew up in Toledo, Ohio, right where we're at and right where we're working. And before I begin, let me just tell everybody how grateful I am to be here, and grateful to be able to give some flowers to Tam Tam, as we affectionately call her, because as much as she talks about the grindhouse and Go Time Grind being a blessing to her, she's been that much more of a blessing to us. And every program, every event, just to support, you do what you do everywhere. Like you know that you're born to create this hope platform because you just give out hope even on accident. You know what I mean, at the gym. And so it's good to be here. It's good to be on this platform. It's humble beginnings, and that's a lot. What I'm gonna talk about today is just about being able to stay down for the come up. You know what I mean? You got to be able to see the big thing in the small thing, and that's the gist of my story. And it started out small. I started out again in Toledo, Ohio, just a regular kid. Grew up in a regular house. It was 1986. It was the height of the crack cocaine epidemic, and it was kind of ravaging my family. My mother gave birth to me when she was about 14 years old. Before long, we were homeless because my grandmother was addicted to crack cocaine, and pretty much everybody in my family was either addicted or dealing crack cocaine.
Okay.
So it was kind of just hitting my family hard. And I remember at that time, early in my life, waking up in the middle of raids and the police ramshacking the home. I remember waking up in the middle of wild parties because we had to move from house to house, and sometimes some of the homes were unsavory. And before long, my little sister was born. She was only a year under me, and my mother was still just a teenager, and we were just kind of in the world, just struggling. My mother started to deal drugs to try to make a way for us. And as the story usually goes, before long, she ended up in the county jail, sentenced to time for doing drugs. And she eventually came home, and when she came home, things changed. We moved across the street from a church. We moved to a new place. We started going to church. Things slowed down. I didn't see parties anymore. We weren't in the middle of raves. But the only thing that changed that wasn't so good was the financial situation. When she used to deal drugs, we had money, we had cars, we had things. But now at this point, poverty started to set in. And I was a normal kid. I liked sports. I liked school. I was super sharp in school. My sister was the same way. And the poverty didn't really start to hit me or really affect me mentally until I hit high school. When I hit high school, money started to become a factor. I wanted to be the man. I wanted to have the girls like me, and they liked the guys that had certain things, and I wanted to make a way. And I remember it was a guy down the street, and his name was Jim. Jim was wealthy. I had always been asking Jim to let me help him in his construction company. I wanted to work with him. I just wanted to make some money. And Jim would always give me the spin move. He always put me up. Hey, tomorrow or the next day, or get this, or get that, or get this, or get that. And I was always trying to help him. And he never let me help. Then I remember I started selling some weed. When I was selling weed, I wasn't doing too much, but I was just trying to save up a little money and at the same time have enough food to buy my sister and I some snacks before school, get some shoes when I needed to. And at the same time, I was still going to school. I was playing sports. I was a varsity basketball player. I was a Golden Glove boxer. And so things was not really getting out of control. But I noticed that at one point I seen Jim struggling. I want to ask him, man, what's up with the construction company? And he had lost his car because what I didn't know about Jim is he was addicted to crack. But beforehand, when Jim had a lot of money, he called himself just partying, and partying always catch up. And that's what I always say about negative things. It takes you farther than you want to go and makes you stay for longer than you want to stay. And this what happened in Jim's case. Now, Jim had become strung out on the drugs, and he couldn't make a way. And I said, Jim, get yourself together. I could drive. I got a car. I could drive to the jobs. I got a little money. I could fund the work, and then we could build a client. So Jim thought about it, and he moved with it. I remember the first job we went to, we built a porch from the ground up. And I was like, wow, I didn't know where we was going to start. He showed me the skills, and we got it done. We built the client, and the money was good. We split it down the middle. I took the expenses that I had bought the equipment with. I'm like, wow, it's good. Immediately, I had an idea. I'm going to start my own construction company. I tell them I'm going to get shirts. I'm going to get the logo on it. I need to be able to trade my car in and try to find a truck, and we need flyers.
Let me ask you a quick question on that. Did you have a name for your construction company?
I'm sure I did, but I can't remember.
I'm just wondering.
I can't remember what the name was, but I know I was excited. I started telling my uncles. I was telling everybody I met. They was excited for me to see me try to choose a good and a new way. And we did a few more jobs. And what I started to see was that in order to get the work done and build a client, I needed more money to really get into this industry. So I'm like, what I'm gonna do? I said I need to just hustle a little harder. I need to hustle a little harder and stack up the money and be able to put it in this industry, and then I'll be able to move like I want to move. And the hustling was slow, and so I said I need a lick.
Right.
And if anybody aware of what a lick is a criminal way of coming up with a large amount of money in a short period of time. AKA for me, it turned out to be a robbery. I was looking for an idea and I met a guy. When you're looking for the wrong thing, it seems like it always finds you. So I met a guy who had just came out of prison. He was talking slick. He was talking fast. He had an idea. He said he knew of a safe in the back of his friend's club or bar that had plenty of money in it. The lowest he had ever seen it was $11,000. And I'm like, that's what I need. And so we go into this place and he's like, man, I just need you to stand in the back. And at the time, you know, I'm a teenager, he talking good. And he's like, I need you to stand in the back, just hold the gun. And I take my gun, I do the work. Lay everybody down, we go in the back, we come out. And things went haywire in there. They went crazy, they went downhill. I ended up shooting a person. Well, allegedly shooting some person. He shot, I shot because what I didn't understand at the time, you should never rob people and you should never rob anybody, but especially don't rob drunk people.
Drunk people.
Because they behave like drunk people. And this is what happens when you find yourself in a lane in an area that you shouldn't be in. But so I go in here and get scared and shoot and we run and eventually the police catch up with him and I'm sitting in an evidentiary hearing and they call him into the courtroom and he's sitting across from me and he tells a long story about how I made him and forced him to go into this place and I was the main culprit in the situation.
Now, let's just real quick, you're 18 years old at this time?
Yeah,
Yeah.
maintain.
You just graduated from high school?
Just graduated. So it's probably August. I had just graduated in June.
Okay.
Right. The day that they arrested me, I was leaving the registration of college. I had just registered at college. I was on my way back. The police stopped me, and I never seen the streets again. Eventually, I was sentenced to 16 years in prison.
Never been in any trouble before that?
Never been in any trouble, and I couldn't believe that I would be going to prison, but I did. And I couldn't believe I'd be sentenced to 16 years, but I was.
It almost makes me want to cry, like right now, just thinking back to that time, like you're 18, just actually you were just really trying to better yourself in a business. You didn't know a different way, right? And went that way, but you're still signing up for college classes, which is something that's great, right? Graduated from high school, basketball play. I've talked to some of your coaches I ran into at football games and stuff, and all they do is talk so highly of you. So you're a good kid, right? You know, and so just thinking, just sitting there like in an instant, just everything had to be like crazy in your head going on.
How it snowballed.
Yeah.
I remember everything went somewhere where I never meant it to go.
Right.
When the very first day I started to sell weed, it was me and my best friend. We were sitting here, older guy gave us 2 ounces of weed a piece. And he said, this is free. It's to help y'all out. Sell it, and by the time y'all come back to me, I should have some money to buy more. And I remember I sat there, we thought about it on the table, and I don't know why, but I told him, I said, listen, man, if we do this, we will never move into selling crack or a harder drug again. We can't get caught in this situation. And he agreed. We made that choice. And then I looked up, and before long, he was selling crack. And I always said that I would never get stuck selling crack. And before long, crack led to robbery. And then now I'm in the penitentiary. And when I get to prison, prison is a place of lack. It's not enough of anything. It's not enough seats. It's not enough phone calls. When you on the phone, everything, it's not enough food. It's not enough of anything. And so what that environment creates is, it creates a world full of social predators.
Okay.
Well, it's get or get got, right? Like certain things just it's almost a zero-sum game, right? My gain is your loss automatically. So when you get on the phone phone calls are timed. So you could say it's if the phone calls are 30 minutes and we're only allowed to use the phone this amount of time, there are this many phone calls in a day.
Okay.
Max phone calls, right? And so when I get on the phone and I talk to my mom and she passed the phone around, and I talk to my sister, and I talk to my brother, and I talk to my niece, my uncle pop in the house, I say, hey, put him on the phone real quick, and then when my mom get the phone back, and right when she get ready to say, baby, I've been wanting to tell you, it says, you only have a minute left to talk, right? And she said, baby, can you please just call me right back. And when I go to hang up this phone, my mom just asked me to call her back. And I've embarrassed her. I've hurt her by coming to prison. And the least I can do is be able to call my mom back when she asks, right? I'm a burden. She sends money. She spends time with cars. She's constantly arguing on my behalf with other family members that say he's gonna come home and do the same thing. So she going through all this stress. The least I could do is just call this lady back. But by me calling her back means that this next guy in this line, his mother told him, baby, if you don't do nothing else, call me Wednesday evening. I just want to hear your voice. So he just want to call his mom. So now when I hang up this phone, literally I got my finger on this dial and I'm thinking, and I'm like, I don't care who behind me. I don't care what they talking about. We can do whatever they want to do. I'm calling my mom back. Meanwhile, he over here waiting in line saying, I'm calling my mom. I don't know what dude's trying to do. I don't know why he holding that dial. If he push one of them buttons, it's going down because I'm calling my mom. And so you see that kind of environment, and it creates social predators, and it's war, and it's adversity amongst people. And that world kind of devoured me coming in, being a teenager, having a show I was tough. Also being seen as a mark at times and having to prove, like, man, you gotta, this ain't that. That world kind of environment, it kind of enveloped me. But I started to grow out of that. Right, I started to grow out of that, and I seen some change. I remember a lot of points where I was about to grow out of that thing, and I just tell you one or two maybe. But one was when I ran into a guy, and I always tell this story pretty much everywhere I go. I ran into a guy, and I was smart in prison. I told you, I had graduated in June, got arrested in August. It's about a year later by the time I got to prison. But in prison, a lot of guys haven't been far in school. You know, a lot of guys dealing with 6th grade educations, 7th to 8th grade educations. Right. And so you got a guy that graduated high school, and I was pretty sharp in school. Yeah. I'm like basically a doctor. Right. In school. Right. Basically, I know everything. And so I'm young enough to feel like I know everything. And so I ran into a guy, he was saying something he thought was intelligent, and I was about to bust his bubble. I said something, and he just politely humbled me. Really? Right. And I felt stupid. I felt this little, people kind of chuckle, and I just couldn't believe he did that. So the next day I snuck up to the library to read the world book. And I say snuck up because that wasn't a place that I wanted to be seen. Right? I didn't want nobody thinking it was sweet or lame or nothing. Then my dude just always got jokes and funny. So I just sneak up to the library and I look in the world book. I look at what he was saying. He happened to be right. And it was good, but I had more. I was gonna find something in here, and I was gonna casually stump him with that, right? So I found it. I think I looked at something about Ethiopia and Haile Selassie, right? And I came down, and you know the first thing he said, he just happened to come up and like, hey, how you go? Hey, you know, I'm thinking about Haile Selassie. I'm sure you're familiar with that, right? And so he happened to he know. He did. I'm just gonna say he was familiar with it. He know it. He know it, and he know more than that encyclopedia knew. I felt like I'm like. So he stumped me with that, and before long, he became a friend. I was going to him, and he was challenging me, and he was pushing my mind to new levels, and it was feeling good. I was growing. I'm sneaking up to the library and reading the world book more and more, and before long, I'm gravitating to more than just him and a circle of guys like him. And I started to like the idea of learning. I started to like the idea of growing. I'm exercising. I'm getting consistent in that. I'm even starting to change my diet and what I'm eating. I don't go eat everything that's at the child hall because I'm learning about soy and what it does to my hormonal balance and things changing for me. And even though I'm trying to hide it from my friends, they can see it clearly.
Right.
I remember a couple guys came into the day room at one time, and in prison, it's all about cities. It's
Okay.
all about cities. In state prison, it's Toledo versus Cleveland versus Columbus versus
Okay.
whatever. When you land at a new prison, I went to a lot of new prisons. I was in like 6 different prisons
Really?
over my 16-year stay. But when you land in new prisons, your city come, or people find out. They say, "What's up? Where you from?" And you say Toledo. First of all, that become your first name. Like for your first week there, before people know your name, it's, "Hey, Toledo, Toledo, Toledo." You know they talk to you, but they try to connect you with who from your city. Oh yeah, you got a homie down here from, and you go and meet them. But one day they come into the day room, some guys from our city. It's me and one of my best friends named Steph. We close, we locked in tight. We doing sit-ups in the sweat box. And they come in this room and they frazzled. You can see they frazzled, you can see they riled up about something. But they call Steph to the side. And they talking to Steph, and I think it's strange, but they talking to Steph, and I lay down, I keep doing my sit-ups. And then when Steph come back, I'm like, what they was talking about? He was like, you know, Columbus is beefing with the city in this dorm, and it might spill out. And they want me to know because if this go down, this might happen. This might happen. And at the time, you know, I was young, and I'm like, I couldn't let Stephen see it, but it burnt me because like, why y'all just telling him? You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
what's up with me? You
Right.
know what I mean? Like, I'm the one you need to be calling on to go. Cause I you know, I go,
Right.
but what I had noticed was that they started seeing the change, and they wasn't calling me to that circle. But when when their kid's mother started cheating on them, and they was stressed out, and they was crying, they sitting on my bed, like, man, what should I do? So I started seeing that change. I started seeing that growth. I started seeing people at home waiting on me to make decisions. You know, I call and they say, "Hey, I want to run this body. Well, what do you think I should do?" And I started growing them areas.
Can I stop you real quick?
Right.
So you said you went to 6 different prisons
Right.
throughout your 16
Mhm.
years.
Mhm.
So every time, like, they just do that normally? Like, they,
No, it's always a reason.
there's always a
It's
reason.
always a reason. Always a reason. So naturally, your security goes down.
Okay.
It's like 5 different security levels. You got maximal security, and then you got close to maximal security, and then you got a medium security, then you got minimum security.
Okay.
I started in close. I started in close. I think I went up to close max at my highest point, and I came down to minimum when I left. And so it's just different reasons. So a lot of times my security was dropping, sending me a few. One time it was like lateral, meaning you're trying to get closer somewhere, and then grant you a transfer. One time it went up. I got into it with a police officer, with a CO officer. I went into a visit, and he was taking longer than I thought he should take. He was like a bully, like tough guy.
And you weren't having it, huh?
Yeah. And so I walked into the visiting room, put on my clothes. I was supposed to strip down. He had me there naked. So I put on my clothes. I walk in. He come on and he called me back in there. He said, "Why you going there without me taking me?" I said, "Man, you taking forever. You talking. You having a good time with my family out here." And he get tough and you get to talking before you know it. We tussling. He's spraying. He trying to spray his mace. I'm trying to duck it and wrestle. And then all the officers come and they come wrap me up. I sat in the hole for about, I think I did 5 months in segregation. Right, segregation it was rough.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, it was rough. I remember, for the first time they had me on non-contact. They were so mad at me about it, and all the officers and all the stuff that was going on. It was a big melee. I was trying to throw them, and it's a big crazy stuff going on. So they ended up putting me on non-contact. that means that an officer can't even come and give you food. It had to be the highest ranking officer on the compound had to come and give you your stuff. And so, it's no telling when they're gonna get to you. If they drop some food there, it's gonna sit there for 3 hours. And I remember sitting on a non-contact, nobody could talk to me, nobody could say nothing. And I don't know what was happening in that room, but every evening my allergies would go nuts and I couldn't breathe. Asthma going crazy. And I would tell them,
Right.
man, I can't breathe. I can't breathe. I couldn't go to sleep. I couldn't do nothing. Every time I go to sleep, I feel like I'm about to die. Like, man, I gotta breathe intentionally. So I'm sleep deprived. And every time they would come, they would pull me out, they would put me in a holding cell and wait for the nurse to come. She'd give me a breathing treatment. And I swear to you, every single time she came, my breathing was perfect. And I'm telling this lady, I'm like, look, I don't know. I'm telling I could breathe now. And she come like, I could breathe now, every time. When you're in prison, you're always faking.
Right.
It never hurts that bad. And you always over exaggerate. I don't care what they do. They can cut your leg off. Come on. I mean, it's a knee. You have plenty of time left. Stop with the complaining. You guys are so entitled. That's what they say in prison. Every time you complain or demand, you guys are entitled. No one brought you here. You came here.
He's gone.
Right? So she telling me, she looking like I'm lying. I'm like, man, I don't want to go back in that cell. I don't know what's going on. I don't want to go back in that cell, but they keep putting me back in that cell. And I couldn't sleep. And I remember that's the only time in prison where I literally thought that I was losing my mind. I literally was having moments like I remember, and I don't know why, I remember I could not remember my name. I'm sitting there, I'm like, man, what's my name? And I don't tell nobody. I can't say nothing because I know I don't want nobody to think I'm crazy, but I'm sitting there thinking for like hours, like, man, but I'm sleep deprived. And so much stress was going on. I hadn't heard from my mom. They wasn't giving me no mail. But the last time I seen my family, it was outside. I had went outside for about 2 minutes to meet them. Went outside the visiting room to meet them. Next thing I know, I'm in here. They don't know what happened. Only thing they know is they say, you guys have to leave. They write in mail. They write in letters. I'm never getting back with them because I'm not getting the mail.
Right.
And so I don't know what they thinking. I'm stressed out. I thought I was losing it. And I remember it's like every morning, the sun would just hit through that room, man. It would light up in that room. And it would just glare on me. And I would be finally about to go to sleep because in the daytime, I could breathe. I was finally about to go to sleep a little bit. But it was too loud and too wild to really sleep in the daytime, It's just, people create action in jail. Nothing going on and the holding cell. Yeah, because it's so boring. Like people just come up with stuff. They just gonna when the CO come this time to give them their food, if ain't nothing happening, somebody gonna throw it back out. Why you throwing it back out? I told you I don't like peas. Ain't no peas. Then everybody else with the bathroom. Yeah, we hate these fucking peas. These peas. Not the peas. So that's just the wild part. Somebody gotta have something going on for the day. So it's too hard to sleep then. But I get a slight second where the sun will come through, and I just it'll just always remind me that God was there. You know what I'm saying? It always remind me that God was with me. But yeah, so I go through prison, and I started to grow. And I always say that I came out of prison with my fur coat on because it was the older guy, and he used to always talk, and he'd be playing chess. And cause that was one of my favorite games after a while. He'd be playing chess and you could come see him. And he could be in a situation where he got about 2 pieces, the other person got 25 pieces.
Right.
Right? He know he about to lose, right? And he'll be like, ooh wee, looking bad for you, old man. And he'll be like, don't help me, help the bear. All right. And what he meant was like, he don't need help. You know what I mean? If he was ever in a confrontation with a bear, just the bear in trouble, not him, right?
Okay.
He needs that strong.
Yeah.
Another thing he would say was, if you dropped him off in the jungle, he coming out with a fur coat on, And then it was an expression of his resilience. And I always say I left prison with my fur coat on
Mm.
because I was able to, in my learning and in my growing, I was able to get a degree in business. I was able to become a certified public communicator and speaker, and I became a certified fitness trainer, like in 5 different areas. And I was trying to figure out how to put all these things together that I was learning. I knew that I was good at fitness. I had learned to work out. I had transformed my body. I became like the resident standard of working out in the prison I was in. And I knew business. I was excited about that. I was excited about doing business and doing it in a godly way because my spiritual life had just expanded. I was worried about spiritual, physical, and mental, and I was focused on all 3. And so I got business. I got um, um, fitness. I got speaking. And the other thing I have been studying on my own was sociology, which is the study of communities. Particularly, I started studying the hood, right, from different scholars. It's one scholar named Louis McQuan in French, but he did a crazy study on the ghetto, right?
Okay.
And he knows everything. He differentiates like types of ghettos, times of ghettos, and I started to understand my community and where I came from. And I wanted to just bring change, understand the sociology. So I got all these things, I'm trying to figure out how to bring them together. And I came up with Go Time Grind. Go Time Grind. And
Now you came up with that right when you got out of prison, or when you were still in prison? You were still in prison.
Yeah,
Okay.
I came home. The Go Time Grind became a official business. My mother helped me establish it as a DBA. About 9 months before I came home.
Okay.
9 to 10 months before I came home. And then when I came home, I turned it into a LLC. And now it's a LLC and INC or nonprofit.
Okay.
Right. So yeah, so I came up with Go Time Grind. And the vision of Go Time Grind was and is to spark a culture of health and wellness in disadvantaged communities. So all told, I wanted to go heal the hood. I was gonna go heal the hood. That was my way of doing sociology, wellness, health and wellness, or fitness, and try to make some money doing business, right? And I was gonna use that to be able to speak, you know. And I got home, and all these ideas, all this knowledge, not a pot to piss in or one of the pour it out of.
Right.
So I'm trying to figure out how to bring it all together. And I look up, I come out the house one day, and a guy is out there in a pickup truck, a nice pickup truck, trailer on the back of it. And he said, "Hey man, how much you gonna charge me parking your yard?"
I want to stop just for 1 second because this to me is a true meaning of a God moment when you tell this story, because this is definitely 100% God. Go ahead.
Yeah, for sure. So I'm so broke at the time, he can pay me 3/4. He can park on top of the house, right? I don't even care.
Right.
In the house. You want to park in there? Right.
Yeah.
Ain't nothing else in there. Right. So I'm like, why you want to park on the yard? And he like, you ain't heard about the golf event that's happening right down the street? And I'm like, no, I haven't. I'm like, give me a second to get with you. I jumped in the car. I think somebody might have been driving me to look for jobs or something like that. And I get in the car, I'm looking on the phone, and it take me forever to look in the phone because this nigga is
Right.
stressing me to death, right? But I'm trying to figure out on the phone what the new golf event, and I come up with the Solheim Cup. And the Solheim Cup was the biggest sports event that hit Toledo since whenever, and it was supposed to bring $200 million to the economy. And I'm like, what? So I not only think about getting back with the guy, I find out about parking. And they're not letting people park at the actual golf event. They're making them park downtown and then busting them out right past the yard, the residence. So I'm like, Oh, this is a big one. So I take the little money I buy some signs, I put them in the yard. I have my sister start posting on their social media that we parking. I tell my family it's gonna be big, it's gonna be good. We're gonna get out here and make it happen. I call these guys that want to park. He wanted to park his food truck. That's what the guy wanted. So I tell food trucks is you can get out here, you can pay, I think I charge like $450 a day, right? Something crazy in my head, right? And I got everybody out here, I got my family out here, they're looking forward to it, they're excited about finally having to move, and the first day we out here smoking hot, not a soul.
Not a soul.
So I hype them back up, it's cool, you gotta stay the course.
Right.
It's 6 days it is. Y'all worry about the first day, what about the next day? Nobody come, right? And I'm distressed, family members dropping off, and I ain't gonna be able to make it out here tomorrow. Y'all had to find somebody else with this sign, this flag. I gotta work. I don't know what you into. The kids hot and hungry, and I'm feeling the pressure. And I'm thinking it's a failure. What I didn't realize was at the time when I was thinking that things weren't going right, people was being bussed past the yard. And they was seeing the signs. And these people didn't want to be this far from their car. When they was coming out to get back on the bus, they had to wait in line. This bus had to go down, they come back, and you had to wait around and all this. And people were seeing this yard the whole time. And so by the third day, they started to come out and try it. BB, can I park? Yeah, park. Parking. Fourth day, they coming out heavy. By the fifth day, jam packed.
Right?
Sixth day, I'm parking people in yards. It's not even mine. And it's just a blessing. They're having a good time. We got the kids out here selling trinkets and stuff from the dollar store. We having a good old time. Made a lot of money. I was able to give my family a lot of money. And I was able to give me a car and rent some space in the gym. I rented space in the gym. I paid a photographer and videographer to come out. And I started advertising and training. Got my first client was one of my childhood friends right here, man, little Tony. He come in, he said, listen, man, I'll give you $200. Starting off with the right type of numbers. That's what I want to hear. $200, he said, for 2 months. Okay, what we talking about? You just train me whenever I need you to train me. He want to train 5 days. I swear twice a day. All right. And so I'm like, okay, let Tone lose weight and he get better. I'm working hard on him, and before long, other people kind of family members at first, and then I start snowballing a little bit better. I'm doing good. The rent at this other gym is pretty high. Within a year, I opened up the Grindhouse Fitness Center, and I didn't just open up any fitness center. I opened up right in the middle of the hood in Toledo. They call it the Inglewood community. Well, in the hood, they call it something else. But by the city standards, they call it the Inglewood area. And it's a rough spot. But I open up right there in the midst of the community that I meant to work with. And at the same time, the city gave me my first grant for working with the youth, right? And they gave me $10,000, and I was able to take that, do the programming, but I also bought equipment for the kids to work with that not only let me work with them in the park outside, but then when I was finished with the program, I was able to bring it to the gym and help furnish the gym. And so it was a win-win. That contract was another what you call a God moment. I mean, the grant was another God moment. They told me about it Wednesday. It was due the following Friday. I had never wrote a grant before. I came home, my mom said, they tell me about a grant. It's up to $50,000. It's working with the kids. I had already started working with the youth. The reason somebody told me is because on Saturdays, my niece and my nephews, they was all couch potatoes. So I'm like, get up, I gotta get into the gym. Started working with them, other people started bringing their kids. I was doing it for free, and people just started seeing that. So somebody told me, like, they're giving out grants to work with the kids. That's why I always say, if you want to do something like what you're doing here, you just got to do it.
Right.
And you provide value, you change lives, you be good at what you do, and the money will catch up with you. You know what I mean? It's even biblical. He said, surely goodness and mercy shall follow me. It's coming. You know what I mean? It's gonna follow you. It's gonna come after you. But anyway, so I get the grant, we start writing some stuff and coming up with some stuff and doing numbers and trying to crunch math. You know, they want all of this, they want all of that, and they asking stuff for legit businesses and budgets. Like, they don't got no money.
Right.
Even budget. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So we putting stuff in here, typos and all, just coming up with what we could come up with. 11:59 hit on Friday. We just push into it, whatever we got. iPad messing up. I'm trying to enter. I'm trying to do stuff and finally get in. I gotta switch the thing. My mom like, the computer ain't working. You gotta switch this and file this up before you get in on time. First enter and get in. And they end up coming back and saying, look, you got the grant. I couldn't believe it. And so ever since then, we've been off to the races. Man. The gym, growing the programming is the star of the ship. You know what I mean? What we doing.
It's amazing.
And since I was able to do that now, you know, I'm able to speak a little bit and move around. And I guess the thing that I'm gonna say, that's the moral of my story, is being able to stay down for the come up. This what I say everywhere I go. It's being able to stay down for the come up. When I went to jail, I didn't have the ability to stay down for the come up. I didn't embrace process. You know, I don't know what people believe in, and it's not even a big thing to me, but I believe in God and I believe in the scripture. And one part of the scripture that I love is in the book of Joshua, and the children of Israel is about to take over all the land, and they say, and God tells them, you won't be able to take it all over at once. You'll take it over piece by piece, lest the land and the wild animals be too much for you. Right. And so what God was telling me is, you're gonna have to go through a process, because the process is what's gonna help you build the infrastructure to maintain it. Had you take over this thing all at once, you're not gonna have the infrastructure in place to maintain it. If you go get this, manage this land, get it under control, now you have the resources to move into some more, and then move into some more, then move into some more. So you got to be able to embrace that process. We learned that from every lottery winner, right? And how the majority of them, the lottery ruined their life. You know what I mean? You learn that from basketball, NFL players. You know, you come from being broke, hit 18, 19, 20, get the most money you ever got in your life, and then you look up, and after their career, 60% of NBA players, 70% of NFL players suffer either bankruptcy or severe financial struggles within 5 years after the end of their career. Why? Because there was no infrastructure, there was no process. It just dropped on you, right? Not saying that to knock them, but it's just the way it goes. So the thing that I couldn't embrace before prison was process. I tried to jump on the trampoline, right? I couldn't stay down for the come up. I needed money. I needed it quick to get this business going. I need a lick. The difference is when I left prison, I knew how to stay down for the come up. I knew how to work with the small things. I knew how to see the humble beginnings. I believed in it when it didn't look like it. You know what I mean? It felt stupid telling people, oh yeah, I'm fitness trainer, I own this company, because what is it? You know what I mean? But now it's a little bit of something. You know what I mean? It's a little bit of something. And so if I had a word for anybody that's listening to this dope hope thing, is stay down for the come up, man. Stay down for the come up.
I love that. I love that. So so when I did my Night of Hope last year, it was his mom's birthday, and I'll never forget. And I had never met Miss Aretha yet, what a blessing she is. And I remember thinking to myself, oh my goodness, he's been out of prison just coming up on not 2 years yet. So she'd only spent one birthday with you. And now I'm taking him away for the night for her birthday. So ended up, I was like, I want to bless her. So we got her cake and some roses and stuff. But when I met your mom that night, she is an amazing woman.
She
She really is. I told her she needs to be on Hope. She told me I was a comedian, but anyways, throughout that, my whole point of this, well, one thing is when he talks about the gym being where it's at, it is definitely in the hood. And my friends say to me all the time, they're like, "Do you really work out there?" And I'm like, it's fine. Everything's fine. Like, I love that place. The energy's good. The people there are so good. It's just, I walk in there and some days I don't feel like going and I'll tell them. And I get there and it's just the energy there and what you're doing there and the new equipment you're adding and watching these kids is what I love. Like when I go in there and there's 10 kids and you're working with them or Coach Cook's working with them. And I'm just like, it's so cool to see them, you know, and what you're doing there. And I know that your mom has been a big part of your life with all of this, just like cheering you on, your biggest cheerleader. And she's one of my biggest cheerleaders too. I wanted to say, because this has been something that's been so much on my heart just over the last few months with what happened with Chad. And I talked about that on one of my podcasts, but through all of that, when it happened with Chad, I remember sitting at the hospital that night when he was in surgery and you sending me a text and saying, "Do I need to be there?" I'm probably gonna cry a little. And I think I said back, "I'm in Detroit," and you said that wasn't what I asked. And I said, "No, I'll be okay." But to have you just at 11 o'clock at night, like, "Do you need me there?" That just shows me exactly that who you are. You're not, like you said, you know, you're very humble and very caring. And your mom every single day messaged me and was praying. And I remember she still says that her and Chad are taking me and you on at the gym as soon as she feels better. She calls him her champ, but that just meant so much to me. Like God definitely put you guys in my life at the right time too, you know. And when I walked in Go Time Grind, it wasn't about doing a step in boxing class at all. It was like meeting someone that is like family to me, you know. And I appreciate you more than you probably know. I say it all the time, I know, and I post about Go Time Grind, but the reason why is because it's a life-changing place. A life-changing place for whether it's this big or this old lady. I think I'm one of the oldest in the gym. I'm pretty close to it. Pretty close to it, but it's okay. I don't care. I love it. You know, it's fun. I have a good time and I've inspired some other people to come there because of showing you and who you are, you know, and you're changing lives. We have a friend, Nikki, and her life is completely changing because of your patience, your perseverance, you're knowing what we can do, even though sometimes we don't think we can. When I look at that barbell and I'm like, "Ah, no," and you're like, "You got it, Tam," you know, and so I just want you to know how appreciated we are of you. You know, it's it means your gym means a lot to me. I said, you know, I'm not gonna announce that, but if I do move soon, anyways, I've said that you will definitely be something that I will miss, and I will be doing Zooms with you to work out. Because you guys mean a lot to me, a lot. Yeah. So that's a hug one right there. It's the truth. So, and you've told everybody your story, you know, you're just going. And it's amazing to watch the growth, to see the new equipment. The other day I was in there going, "Yeah, this is great." And I'm like, "What's he gonna do when he keeps growing?" And now you have the back room where you work with, you know, sit down with the kids. And that's something else, you know, that when you talked about the youth that I love, you're not only teaching them about staying out of prison and out of trouble, but you're teaching them nutrition and health and wellness and mindset. And you're just such a great mentor for all of them. I watch the little kids just come up to you and it's just like they gravitate, like, "Here he is," you know, but it's good. So I just am blessed by you and your gym and everything that you stand for, and God is good, period.
He is. And yeah, we trying to do some good work out here, and it's part and parcel of what's going on with the whole thing. So we just all gotta keep pushing, keep pushing, keep changing, keep the revolution going.
Yeah. So, well, I appreciate you getting on here finally. Like I said, we've been trying for a long time, but God knows the time of it. So you guys, I appreciate you tuning into Hope. Share it, like it. You know, we're on Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Audible, my YouTube channel. I do have to say, my friend Chris always tells me, talk about your Patreon, not Patron. I don't drink, not Patron, Patreon. I have a Patreon if you want to donate $1 or whatever. I don't monetize at all, but it can help get the word out to other people and just share, like, comment, you know, give good ratings, and that way it's pushed a little bit more so other people can hear stories, you know. DeAndre's story is an amazing story of hope. You know, he went from 18 years old being a kid that's signing up for college, graduating from high school, to sitting in prison for 16 years. But instead of being a statistic, I would say he, you know, was able to get his mind right, get around the right people. And that was important too, when you said that, you know, that circle that you got around, and, you know, that's important in life. So we appreciate you getting on Hope. I hope that everybody has a great day, and don't ever forget, your struggles are going to be there, but at the end of the day, you can get through your struggles. As I believe in DeAndre, we both believe in God, and whatever it is that your faith is, you know, I hope that your faith can get you through the times that you feel like you're alone. You guys all have an amazing day. Thanks.